I can't feel my leg. Israeli gunfire disables teenagers in West Bank. Al Jazeera visits a refugee camp in the West Bank, where Israeli soldiers have killed or maimed numerous young people. Nablus, occupied West Bank. Askar Madani says families and young people from the Askar refugee camp would once congregate beneath the olive trees on the slopes of Tel Askar, a hilly area in the north of the occupied West Bank, which is home to the camp. But most won't go anymore because soldiers shoot so many people there, the 32-year-old father of two told Al Jazeera. Amjad Refaee, director of the Askar Social Development Centre, says memories of those killed by Israeli soldiers haunt one of the only green spaces in the camp where children can play. The military has killed 3 teenagers there and maimed many more since October 7, 2023, when Hamas led an attack on Israel, and Israel began its genocidal war on Gaza. The soldiers no longer fire rubber bullets or aim below the waist. They shoot to kill or cause disability, Refaee told Al Jazeera. We are animals to them, he added. They terrorize us, kill our young people in cold blood, and keep us here in a prison. People from the camp say Tel Askar has become the entrance point used by invading Israeli soldiers as they infiltrate the narrow and dilapidated streets of the camp, often via the illegal settlement of Al-Anmor that looms over the east of Nablus. It was on the hill where soldiers shot 18-year-old Amjad Refaee last January, leaving him with a disability. The shooting was almost at the exact spot where his childhood friend Mohammed Abu Hanin was killed by the army just over a year before. He was 18. I asked my uncle to shoot me. Amjad was a promising footballer and dancer until Israeli soldiers shot him in the leg last January as a convoy of jeeps drove through Tel Askar. Advertisement: he had traveled extensively performing dak, a traditional Palestinian line dance. Amjad, now an aspiring nurse, was hauling his wounded friend, also shot by soldiers, to safety when he was hit by a bullet. My kneecap and my thigh bone were shattered, he told Al Jazeera. I couldn't feel my leg anymore, so I thought I had lost it. The blood felt like boiling water spilling out of my leg. Soldiers blocked ambulances from reaching Amjad as he lay bleeding. Healthcare officials and international organizations say that has happened hundreds of times since October 7, when Israel intensified raids on Palestinian communities in the occupied West Bank, particularly refugee camps. Amjad eventually underwent 4 operations to help him walk again. He spent 4 months bedbound. Doctors tell him his mobility will never return to normal. When I woke up from the first surgery, I asked my uncle to shoot me because I thought it would be better, he added. But I'm learning to accept the situation and keep living. Amjad said he still dreams of touring, dancing dak, and running with his friends. But none of that is possible now, he said. The children of refugees, at least 13 Palestinians, have been killed in Askar since Israel's assault on the occupied West Bank intensified after October 7, according to Palestinian monitoring groups. Many others have been shot during the military's incessant raids. At least 157 children have been killed by soldiers or Israeli settlers in the West Bank and occupied East Jerusalem since 2024, according to data compiled by Defense for Children International. Palestine. Israel denies targeting children, saying its military raids are necessary for security reasons and to clamp down on Palestinian fighters. Askar is among the most densely populated of the 19 refugee camps in the occupied West Bank. It is home to 24,000 people, packed into an area about the size of 17 football fields. It is plagued by unemployment, and many residents live in poverty and suffer cramped living conditions, according to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency UNRWA. Refugee camps originally were makeshift tented communities intended to provide temporary sanctuary to hundreds of thousands of refugees forcibly expelled from historic Palestine in the Nakba of 1948, when the State of Israel was established. But as the decades passed and hopes faded for the refugees to return to their homes faded, the camps became overcrowded, built-up areas. Amjad sat in the camp's newly established emergency health center with his friend Yamin Habran, aged 17, and Askar Madani, aged 32. They were also shot by the Israeli military in the last 3 years, leading to disabilities. Advertisement: the trio were insistent that no one, no matter their age, is safe when the military storms the camps. They noted the case of 14-year-old Iyad Shalakti, who was shot dead by soldiers on July 9, 2025, in Tel Askar. No safety. Askar Madani said he forbids his children, as do many other parents, to play outside in the refugee camp. His 4-year-old son energetically patrolled the meeting room where Al Jazeera spoke with his father. The young boy cries uncontrollably every time the military enters the camp because he knows what soldiers did to his father. He was shot by a sniper at 7:30 a.m. on January 9, 2024 as he rushed to clock in at the factory where he worked. "I lost so much blood," he said. "The paramedic did everything he could to keep me conscious in case I didn't wake up." He recovered from multiple major surgeries. The shot, he says, went in the back of his knee and out the front, leaving gruesome scars. He said the army now invades at any time of day and doesn't distinguish between those fighting against the Israeli occupation and peaceful, unarmed residents. "Anyone can get shot," he said. "There is no safety. I was just walking to work." Islam is no longer employed at the factory and cannot stand for long before pain overwhelms him. He's been seeing a psychologist to help him process what he sees as the shame of not being able to provide for his family since he was shot and left jobless. "I became more aggressive, angry, and impulsive since being shot," he said. "I pray to God that better is to come." Deliberate. Yemen dropped out of school very young to support his family through hardship. The timid teen